Hello students! Welcome to English with Shola. So as you know, I'm on my spring break trip. So I'm recording the spring lessons for you that you can use from the 15th of March to the 1st of April. This particular lesson here is the spring celebrations lesson for the upper intermediate B2-C1 level. So this is going to be for the older teenage students and adult students. Okay, I hope you've downloaded the PDF and you can either use your programs online to write on it and annotate, or you can print it out and actually write the assignments, the exercises that way. So let's get started. And just so you know, when I'm looking here, it's because I'm looking at the document on my laptop so I can follow the lesson with you. So you can follow the lesson with me. Also, I'm going to present it here so you'll see the part that I'm on. So there shouldn't be any confusion. Okay, for the spring celebrations lesson. First, let's start with the photo description. What do you see in this photo? You can pause the video and say it out loud. Talk about what's in the photo. So I would describe this photo by saying, wow, this photo, it just shows a lot of joy. And I think it was definitely taken in the springtime because there are a lot of yellow flowers in the background. The entire background is filled with yellow flowers. There's a woman standing in the middle of this flower field, and it looks like she's wearing a thin but long sleeve t-shirt, so maybe it's a little bit warm. She has really long, straight, dark hair. It goes past her chest, maybe to her belly button, hits her torso. And her arms are out like this, stretched out. So I think she's receiving the sunshine, or maybe she's feeling the air. She's just enjoying the moment, and her face is turned up towards the sun. So it's a very joyful spring photo. Let's go on to number 1, the warm-up. What spring celebrations and special events do you know about? Thanks to my students in Hong Kong and mainland China, I now know more about Chinese New Year, aka also known as Lunar New Year. Do you know about other spring celebrations? Maybe something that's celebrated in Spain in March and April. Okay, you can pause the video to talk about it. Now let's move on to exercise 2, which is to focus on vocabulary. You're going to match the words on the left with the definitions on the right. Number 1, a ritual. Number 2, straw. Number 3, rebirth. Number 4, a craftsman. Number 5, flock. Number 6, a bloom. Number 7, an equinox. Number 8, mark. A ceremony or set of acts which is performed in the same way every time. B, a flower of a plant. C, a period of new life and growth. D, a person who is very good at making objects using their hands. E, either of the 2 times of the year when day and night are the same length. F, move or go together in a crowd. G, the dry yellow stems of crops such as wheat. H, to acknowledge or celebrate something. So pause the video here, match the words to their meanings, and then unpause, and I'm going to tell you the answers. Okay, for exercise 2, vocabulary, the answers are number 1, A. Number 2, G. Number 3, C. Number 4, D. Number 5, F. Number 6, B. Number 7, E. And number 8, H. How did you do? Now remember, for more practice with vocabulary, you can write your own sentence using each word. Read. Activity number 3. You're going to read an article about events around the world that celebrate the arrival of spring. Before you read, match the countries with the statements below, then scan the text on the next page to check your answers. The countries are Australia, Bosnia, Iran, Mexico, Poland, and Switzerland. Number 1, a giant snowman is burned. Number 2, people climb to the top of an ancient pyramid. Number 3, there is a huge flower festival in September. Number 4, the new year is celebrated. Number 5, large amounts of scrambled eggs are made. And number 6, cloth dolls are made, set on fire, and thrown into rivers. Wow. Okay, pause the video. Just think about what you already know, your previous knowledge related to these countries. Try to match the country to the event. And remember, it's just a prediction. It's just a guess. You're not sure, okay? But then you can scan the text, which is on the next page, and you can check your answers. You can pause the video now, then unpause. I'm going to tell you the correct answers. So, number 1, Switzerland. Number 2, Mexico, Mexico. Number 3, Australia. Number 4, Iran or Iran. Number 5, Bosnia. And number 6, Poland. How did you do? Let's move on to the next page. I'm going to read the text out loud. You should read along. Spring celebrations. People around the world celebrate the end of winter and the beginning of a new season in distinctly different ways. Some of these festivals date back thousands of years, whereas others are new additions to the spring calendar. And please forgive my pronunciation. I'm not familiar with all of these. I might not pronounce them correctly despite looking up the videos. I don't remember. Number 2, Marzana, Northern Slavic countries. Celebrated around March 21st, the tradition of burning or drowning a figure of Marzana to mark the end of winter still survives in the Czech Republic, Poland, Lithuania, and Slovakia. The figure can be as small as a hand puppet or the size of a human. Interesting. Children often throw this decorated figure into a river during school field trips. That sounds really fun. The ritual represents the end of winter, victory over death, and spring, the time of rebirth. Okay, the next one is paragraph 3, Sechslachen, Switzerland. This Swiss festival includes the tradition of burning an 11-foot snowman filled with straw, cotton, and dynamite. The rate at which the snowman, named Bog, burns indicates what the upcoming summer weather will be like. The faster the fire reaches the head of the snowman, the better the forecast. The longer it takes to explode, the wetter the summer will be. The name of the festival translates to the 6 o'clock ringing of the bells, referring to the time in the 16th century when craftsmen worked to around 5 p.m. in the winter. When spring arrived, church bells rang, ding, ding, and people worked until the sun went down at 6 p.m. Number 4, Shimburijada, Bosnia. As a traditional way of marking the first day of spring, people in the Bosnian town of Zenica cook for Shimburijada, or the festival of scrambled eggs. Large amounts of scrambled eggs are made in huge pots and then given out for free. Everybody loves free food. People gather by the river to share this breakfast with friends and visitors who came to the city. Nice. The tradition goes back a few hundred years and attracts people from across the country. Floriade, Australia. This relatively new tradition takes place in Australia's capital, Canberra. I think I've learned that with a few of you. The capital city of Australia is Canberra, which we often think of Sydney or Melbourne because those are more popularly, more well-known cities, but the capital is Canberra, where more than 400,000 people flock to a massive flower festival every spring. Remember, massive is a synonym for big. I used that in my video about staying in that big mansion. Big, huge, enormous, massive, gigantic. Massive flower festival every spring. The month-long celebration starts in September, the beginning of spring in the southern hemisphere. Remember, when we think about the globe, the world, there's the equator, the imaginary line that runs through the center. And in the northern hemisphere, the seasons are opposite whatever it is in the southern hemisphere. Okay, so back to the reading. Paragraph 5, in Australia. Yes, the beginning of spring in the southern hemisphere. Here's Australia. More than 1 billion blooms are on display in Canberra's Commonwealth Park each year, creating a breathtaking display of spring color. Remember, breathtaking, it literally means something is so beautiful or stunning or incredible that it takes your breath away, because for a moment you just, you stand in awe and it's as if you can't breathe. It's so incredible. I would love to see that. Creating a breathtaking display of spring color. The festival includes concerts, art displays, and gardening workshops. My mom would love that. Okay, paragraph 6. Nowruz in Iran, or Iran. Some people pronounce it Iran, some say Iran. This festival starts off the Iranian New Year and falls on the same day as the beginning of spring, meaning the new day in Persian. Persian is the language of Iran. It's celebrated in several countries and by people of different religions. Its origins come from ancient ideas which stress the connection between humanity and nature. Remember, here stress doesn't mean like, oh, I have a lot of work to do, my head hurts, I feel so stressed. It means to emphasize or stress the connection between humanity and nature. Today, Iranians celebrate Nowruz over 13 days by extensively cleaning their homes, buying new clothes, and visiting friends and family. On the 13th day of the festival, families have a picnic outside to show that they don't believe in the bad luck associated with the number 13. Cool. And a little cultural note about that. In America, in the USA, usually people think of Friday the 13th as being an unlucky, superstitious, unlucky day. In Spain, however, it's Martes el 13, Tuesday the 13th. So I'm not sure about the origin of why it's a different day. But also, even in the USA, there are some horror films related to Friday the 13th. I think there's a Freddy Krueger or Jason horror film actually called Friday the 13th. Okay, and paragraph 7, spring equinox at the El Castillo Pyramid in Mexico. El Castillo is Spanish for the castle. Thousands of years ago, the Mayans were an ancient civilization and group of people in Mexico. Thousands of years ago, the Mayans celebrated the return of the sun serpent. Serpent is the same as snake. At the beginning of spring. Now, every year on the 20th or 21st of March, thousands of people gather together at the foot of the El Castillo pyramid in the middle of the Chichen Itza archaeological site to do the same. I've been to Chichen Itza. When I visited Mexico, when I visited the Yucatan Peninsula, my friends and I went to Chichen Itza and we saw the pyramids there. It's incredible. I recommend it if you've never been. Between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., participants climb the 360 steps to the top of the pyramid. During the equinox in spring and autumn, the late afternoon sun casts a shadow over the pyramid, creating the illusion of a snake slithering down it. That's amazing. Down from it. Okay, now let's look at activity 4, checking understanding. So what do you remember from this text? Let's answer the questions according to the article. I will read through the questions and the answer choices, and then let me read it first, then you'll pause. Okay. Number 1. During the Sechlaten festival, what indicates that there will be good summer weather? Is it A, the snowman burning rapidly, B, the snowman taking a long time to explode, or C, church bells ringing? Pause now, find the answer, and I'm going to tell you the answer. Number 1 is A, the snowman burning rapidly. Okay, number 2. In Bosnia, for the Simborijada festival, people A, play games with eggs, B, make a lot of money from cooking food, or C, share food with strangers. Pause the video now, and then unpause. I'm telling you the answer. Number 2 is C. Number 3, the Floriade Festival has space for 1 million. 1 million what? A, visitors, B, flower blossoms, or C, art exhibits. Pause now, find the answer, and I'm going to tell you the answer. Number 3 is B. Number 4, during Nowruz, what do people do? A, show their appreciation for animals. B, freshen up their wardrobe. Or C, celebrate the number 13. Pause now and find the answer, then come back and I'll tell you. Okay, number 4 is B. They freshen up their wardrobe. Okay, number 5. Number 5. In Mexico, why do people visit the El Castillo Pyramid? A, to welcome the sun's serpent back. B, to look for archaeological objects from the Mayan period. Or C, to complete the challenge of climbing the 360 steps to the top. Pause now, find your answer, and I will tell you. Okay, the answer to number 5 is A, to welcome the sun's serpent back. How'd you do? 5, find the words. Find a word or phrase in the text which means, number 1, clearly not the same. It's a collocation, which means a common phrase, and it's in paragraph 1. Number 2, have existed for a particular length of time. It's an idiom, and it's in paragraph 1. Number 3, visits made by students to a place. It should be a place. A place to learn about something. It's a noun, it's plural, and it's in paragraph 2. 4, available for the public to look at. It's a phrase, so probably 2 or 3 words together, and it's in paragraph 5. 5, is at a particular time. It's a phrase, so 2 or 3 words together, and it's in paragraph 6. Number 6, completely. This is an adverb, and it's in paragraph 6. Number 7, sends an area of darkness across something. It's a phrase in paragraph 7. And number 8, sliding across a surface with twisting movements. It's a verb with the ing form, the gerund, and it's in paragraph 7. Pause the video now, look in the text for the answers, and then unpause when you're ready to hear the answers. So here are the answers to exercise 5. Number 1, distinctly different. Number 2, date back. Number 3, field trips. Number 4, on show. Number 5, falls on. Number 6, extensively. Number 7, cast a shadow over something. STH in the parentheses, that is the abbreviation for something. And number 8, slithering. We always use the verb slithering to describe the action of a snake moving, because they don't have legs, so they can't walk or crawl. How did you do? We have made it to the last exercise, number 6. This is the talking point. We're going to discuss these 3 questions. So I hope you have someone in your family or a friend that you can actually practice speaking to discuss these with. Or if you'd like, you could send me a WhatsApp audio message sharing your response. And I'll, of course, respond to you when I have a free moment, okay? So, number 1, which of these celebrations sounds the most interesting to you and why? Perhaps Nowruz in Iran, just because it's pretty simple with having a picnic outside, and I love spending time outdoors. Picnic food is usually light and fresh and healthy. and you get to clean your house, which I'm always cleaning my house, and you get to freshen up your wardrobe. And that's always fun, and I like to dabble in some style and fashion sometimes. So yeah, having a picnic and visiting friends and family outside sounds nice. What about for you? And number 2, have you ever taken part in any of these celebrations? If so, what was it like? So, as I mentioned before, I've been to Chichen Itza, to the pyramids in Mexico, but I was not there during the particular spring equinox festival, so I didn't get to see the part where the shadow coming down looks like a snake. I didn't see that. I have participated in the Nowruz picnic festival because years and years ago I did have an ex-boyfriend who was from Iran, so I was able to learn about that and participate in that picnic with his family. That was a lovely time. Paragraph 3, the one from Switzerland where they burn the snowman. I have been to Valencia in northeastern Spain and seen Las Fallas, which is where they build effigies of historical or current political figures, and then they burn them at the end of the festival. So I have seen that, and that's incredible. If you visit Spain and get to go to Valencia, look up Las Fallas. I think it's in the spring. And if you can visit during that particular week, it's an incredible experience, something you'll never forget. So what about you? Share your answer. And then number 3, is there a spring celebration in your country that isn't mentioned in this article? What does it involve? Okay, so if you're in Spain, you could talk about Semana Santa, which is Holy Week, the week leading up to Easter. Also, if you're in Spain, you could talk about Las Fallas, which is the festival I just discussed of burning the effigies in Valencia. Is there another spring festival I've forgotten about in Spain? For those of you in Hong Kong or in China or in other countries, I know some of my students have Korean and Japanese heritage, but they might be living in Germany and have also lived in England. Do you know of any special spring celebrations in those mentioned countries? You can talk to your friends and family about it. And again, you can send me a WhatsApp audio message and I will be happy to listen to you and respond and give you any feedback and also just conversation practice in our messages. So for those of you in the B2-C1 upper intermediate going into advanced level, I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know what you think about it. And that's it. Happy spring!